Ned Farrell from the Be Happy Company. Thanks so much for being on. All right, let's start with first things first. What is it like to be a beekeeper, and why are you doing this?
Well, I got into beekeeping because I wanted to get into the Peace Corps after college. So I have a degree in philosophy, and when I was getting my degree, I was
Philosophy and beekeeping.
Exactly. So I was applying to the Peace Corps, and that's what I told them. They said, "What's your degree going to be in?" And I said, "Philosophy." And they said, "Well, that's nice, but what can you do?" And I said, "Well, not much else, really." And they didn't skip a beat, and they said, "How about beekeeping?" And I didn't understand that at all at first. I didn't grow up on a farm. I
So
didn't
you
know anything
learned that
about
in
it.
the Peace Corps?
Learned it in the Peace
Where?
Corps in Paraguay, in South America, because the bees are a natural resource all around the world. And in Paraguay, they didn't have the knowledge to keep the bees. The bees were there, but they didn't know how to keep them. And so I went down there and I was trained in how to keep bees so you could take care of the bees and build a population and also get honey and beeswax out of the hive so it can turn into a supplemental income, or hopefully it would turn into a full-time income and food for the families down there.
So you're in Paraguay, you teach beekeeping there, you come back to Connecticut, in Clinton, and you start the Be Happy Company. So you're 24 years down the road or so.
Yes.
And you told me you have bees in Old Saybrook, East Lyme, and Haddam.
Right.
What does it take to keep bees in these three different places? And I just asked you, I said, what do you do with bees during the wintertime?
Right. Now, the bees take care of themselves as long as the beekeeper leaves them enough food, enough honey and pollen for the winter. They're fine. You don't have to do anything with them. The bees themselves, they will take care of themselves, and it's up to the beekeeper to make sure that they're healthy and to do the proper management technique so they can make as much honey and beeswax as possible. And for the most part, besides checking them every so often and tweaking them here and there, it's actually best to leave them alone.
So as a beekeeper, you decided to make obviously local honey, which is great for allergies, and other products are coming out of this as well. What are the products that you're making from these honeybees?
We have an incredible skincare line that we're developing that people just love it. I mean, actually, we can't make it fast enough, and it's beeswax-based skincare. We have body lotion.
There's the shea
cream.
butter, if you will.
Oh, and there's the eye cream right there, and there's only all-natural ingredients in there. The beeswax, a few other ingredients in the essential oils, everything in it is great for the skin. And women and men, mostly women of course, are really just knocked out by it because it feels so good, it smells so good, and they think it really works for them, and it's wonderful.
I mentioned the allergies because a lot of folks will say I have allergies, but if you take the honey that is made locally, it helps out. What is your knowledge about that?
In my experience from what people have told me and how much honey I sell to people who have allergies, apparently there's nothing like it. Now, I don't have allergies, so I can't tell by myself. But I've kept bees, in South America, in California, Utah, Connecticut, everywhere. People will, if they have bad allergies, they'll buy honey, and they say, yes, I need the honey in order to tend off the allergies. And if it's only like a teaspoon a day. And again, I don't have any personal experience with it besides having people need the honey for themselves.
Do you see a shortage in bees
Oh,
around
absolutely.
the state? And tell me about that.
Absolutely. It's countrywide, you could see it more because when my big thing is teaching people how to keep bees, teaching the kids about how important honeybees are for pollination and the food that we get from them. So half of my whole business is teaching other people how to do this. And you notice it more in the fact that we don't see bees on the clover anymore. We don't see as many honeybees.
Now, see,
on
you
the
know that.
flowers.
I mean, I probably wouldn't notice that, but you all are watching this and you're seeing the scarcity happen there on the clover.
Right, and I have people tell me, yeah, you're right, I don't see bees. We don't see much clover anymore because of what we're spraying on the lawns to kill all the weeds too, and that's a whole different aspect of it. But the honeybees themselves, in the spring, for example, when people need honeybees, you order them, and you order them from down south, and there's a limit. There never used to be a limit. You used to be able to order them whenever you want, and they would send them through the mail. A little package of bees, which was fun for the postmaster to get packages of bees in. But they used to do that. That was the common way of doing it. Now they send up truckloads from the south, and when they're out. Literally, they run out of bees.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
24 years down the road now, you have started a project in Kenya.
Right.
Tell me what it is that you are doing there with beekeeping.
Okay, well, this goes back to the Peace Corps and how things more used to be done and the evolution of what we call development work. You know, people who like to go places and help out in other parts of the world. When I was in the Peace Corps, we were sent in because we had knowledge, all right? We went into these places. I was the first one in my site. The people had no idea what I was doing there. They didn't, you know, I fell from the sky, really, according to them. But I was there, I showed up, I was living there, so I became part of the community, so they took care of me. This is what people do, you just take care of each other.
And we're seeing some pictures now of what you're doing
All right,
in Kenya.
yeah, that's in Kenya. That's one of the schools for orphans, some of the kids there that we're going to be helping out. They're already being helped out in other ways.
So
but
what's the
specifically
structure that
for the
you've set up
beekeeping.
in Kenya?
Okay, so, yeah, right. So in the Peace Corps, I had the knowledge, but the funding was missing. The evolution of development work is starting social enterprises. See, not just, you know, helping people out with a little bit of knowledge or maybe throwing some money at them. What we're trying to do is we're trying to help people get the proper funding so they can get enough equipment, all of the equipment that they need, and the proper equipment, and also the knowledge to run beekeeping businesses, and also the knowledge just for business knowledge in general. What does it take to run a business? So we're bringing together these three different aspects: funding, complete funding for them, and all the knowledge that they need to do this, and follow-up, because this is not just a one-time drop thing like I was, you know, in South America. This is an ongoing communication that we're working with a couple other organizations as well that are already working with the schools for orphans. So we're going to be able to help out 3 different communities, start 3 different beekeeping businesses.
And how will this help an orphanage? I mean, they're going to help out with this, but they're going to be able to build businesses, bring money in that they don't have now. Is that the purpose?
Right. The beekeeping businesses are going to be people in each of the 3 communities. The orphanages or the schools for orphans are going to benefit by getting honey and beeswax. Honey for food and beeswax for all the things that you use. We don't use beeswax in the United States anymore. We don't do as much by hand, but you know, in other parts of the world, I mean, for woodworking, for artwork, for sewing, for leather work, I mean, beekeeping has, or beeswax has a lot of different uses.
And we don't think about that, but
No, we don't
obviously
think about it.
you're somebody that knows that. So you're grabbing some money on something called startsomegood.com. What is that?
Right, startsomegood.com/be happy, B-E-E happy. It's a crowdfunding site. And this is what's so exciting about this, because crowdfunding is, it's not I guess it's not necessarily a new thing, but with the internet, it's just become one of the things. Crowdfunding is, instead of having to go to, like, I have an idea. I want to help save the honeybees throughout the world. Okay, I also want to do this by helping people in Kenya, communities in Kenya, use the natural resources of the honeybees that are there. Also, we want to help out the orphans. So instead of going to a corporation trying to get money, instead of going through some government work, instead of trying to go to a bank and beg for some money, what we can do is we could put our idea on the internet, put it on startsomegood.com/be happy, and ask people for money and share our idea. Say, hey, we have this idea. Look at what we're doing. We're trying to save honeybees. We're helping out these people. Do you like this idea
So
too?
those who have like minds are going to go on and they're going to help you do this.
Exactly. And they could donate any amount.
And what happens when they donate?
When they donate, then we have a goal that they'll see there. So when they donate, hopefully they'll also click share on, because there's a little button there that says Facebook, and there's a little Twitter, and they can just click tweet. And when they share it,
All this, oh my gosh.
I know.
Twitter,
I should know this
Facebook.
stuff. It's unreal, but that's how the networking happens.
Yes.
So they can actually receive a little bit. There's some like suggested donation amounts there as well, and they can actually get something, cards from the kids, or maybe some artwork, which is beautiful. They have beautiful artwork that they can get as well. But then they'll know that they have helped start this. But then what we're going to do eventually, once it's all set up and we're on the ground, is have a website that is going to follow what's happening over there. And then the bigger picture that I don't want to get into too much, but there's other businesses that are now self-sustaining, and this beekeeping business will be self-sustaining. And this is just a pilot project, because we want to do this all
other
over the
countries?
world, even the United States. And we can link up all of these people because the world is so much smaller now. So even the communities that are being helped, that are doing all the same projects, they can even communicate with each other. That's down the road, of course. But right now we have to get the pilot project done and we have to hash out all the kinks. And that's what this startsomegood.com/be happy is all about.
So you're a bee entrepreneur.
A bee entrepreneur, I like that. That's right.
And an innovator. And I would think that bringing money into these towns, into these villages, is going to help make them prosper. And you're behind doing this and a few others.
Right.
Great
Exactly.
idea. Well, you can find your products on Be Happyary, HAPPIARY.com.
happyary.com. Right.
And good luck to you, and I hope to hear that things are going great in Kenya and in other countries.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ned.